The American presidents were people like you and like me, or at least that's how the founders intended them to be. Hi, my name's Teddy Ebby. Welcome back to my reoccurring segment where we're talking about the little personal aspects of the US presidents, past and present. We're talking about their nicknames. Last week we talked about the positive and negative nicknames of James Madison, president number 4. This week we're going to be talking about the positive and negative nicknames of president number 5, James Monroe. Two Jameses, one right after another. Madison, Monroe, JM. Whose idea was this?
Oh, there are two of them.
Today we're going to be breaking down the top 3 positive nicknames for James number 2, James Monroe. We're going to start off things simple with his first positive nickname being the last founding father. James Monroe was born in 1758, just before the heap of revolutionary fervor and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. By the time he ascended to the presidency, most of the other founding fathers had left James Monroe either by passing away or moving on to other projects. Not only that, but he was the last U.S. president to serve in the Revolutionary War, where he attained the rank of major.
Well, I know that, Major, sir.
So after him, both militarily and politically, the founding fathers are gone from the line of the presidency.
They're gone?
In history, he's seen as this kind of bridge character in between the founding fathers and the presidents that would follow, so he really is kind of the last founding father. Moving right on to number 2, he was also known as the Era of Good Feelings president. His election in 1817 followed the end of the War of 1812 and a period of political instability in the United States, not to mention the partisan rhetoric between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, or the Democratic Republicans, seemed to calm down in this period, and the nation had begun to unite. The fledgling country's economy was booming. People were optimistic.
We're in an economic boom, Kaminsky.
Not only that, but Monroe was a whiz kid when it came to foreign policy, acquiring Florida from the Spanish Empire. While the question of slavery still did persist throughout his presidency, it was kind of overshadowed by this general feeling of goodness, an era of good feelings. If you were white, male, and a landowner. This all culminates in nickname number 3, the Monroe Doctrine Man. The Monroe Doctrine enshrined James's place in the league of presidents with foreign policy excellence. The United States had come out of the War of 1812 battered and bruised, and across the ocean, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, and Jefferson looked at Europe licking their chops, ready to take a bite.
That poor man, they're going to eat him alive.
Through a series of foreign policy declarations, James Monroe and his allies made it clear to the leading powers in Europe that in exchange for not meddling in European affairs, the United States expected that European powers would cease their attempts to further colonize the New World. In a sense, right or wrong, James Monroe took a stand and basically said, this Western Hemisphere is our sphere of influence, an American sphere of influence. And in a few short steps, James Monroe pushed the fledgling United States onto the world stage. And the European powers, they listened to an extent. This would serve as the pitch of US interventionism in the entire rest of the world.
He said this brutish and hypocritical American intervention will not go unanswered.
So this singular nickname, born from this singular action, would set up presidents down the line from Monroe up with their own positive and negative nicknames, sometimes informed by their own attempts at US interventionism. But those stories will have to wait until next time. I'm Teddy Ebby. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Presidential Nicknames. We'll continue on next episode talking about James Monroe's negative nicknames.